delighted to be your moderator for today's resident member series, Lecture Recital. I would like to start by acknowledging that we are gathering on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of Musqueam people. For those looking at the recording, the resident member series is a public event at Green College that features a different presenter or presenters from among the resident members of the college. Graduate students, postdoctoral, and visiting scholars share their research or a related topic in their field. With that, I am super excited to introduce today's presenter. And just so you know, this is coming from her bio, so her sense of humor is sprinkling over there. So Mel is a soprano singer, which means she sings really high, and she's from Surrey, BC, which means she is local, and is in the last semester of her master's in music in UBC's opera program, which means soon she'll have to start paying off student loans. Mel also holds a BA honors in world literature from Simon Fraser University and is interested in the intersection of music and literature as modes of storytelling and transmitted knowledge. Recent performances include Cendrillon playing Dorothy, and the cunning little big vixen playing rooster, owl, and cricket, and Joseph Contelou, Jean Dauvert singing the first series. Today she will deliver a lecture recital titled Flipping the Script, a celebration of opera arias and art songs about women who thrive. Please join me in welcoming Mel.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. Thank you so much, Riku. I'm really excited to be here tonight. Thank you all for joining me. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. I've got a jam-packed hour, so we're just going to cut to the chase and jump right in. You know about me already. Riku just introduced me. But tonight I am joined by Dr. Derek Stanier. He hates it when I call him that. I've had the privilege of working with Derek for the last 3 years during my time at UBC. Poor guy has been stuck with me for the whole journey. Hats off to him. But Derek holds a DMA in collaborative piano. This guy really knows what he's doing. And when he doesn't, he's really good at making it up. He's one of our coaches in the opera program, so for those of you who went to go see Cendrillon or Così fan tutte this weekend, or Vixen back in November or whenever, he was one of the fine folks who was helping us get ready for that stage and to put on such a good project. And also he's a Langley boy, so like we're kind of neighbors originally. Next slide, please.
Nobody knows what that is.
We know. I mean, they share. It's fine. It's fine. Little roadmap for tonight. You're going to have a little bit of talking, and then a lot of singing, and then hopefully we'll have time for a quick Q&A, and if we run out of time, I will stick around because I love talking about this stuff. So, that's the plan. Next slide, please. First, a quick little introduction to the kind of music that I'm singing tonight. So, some of the repertoire that I'm singing is opera, and some of it is art song. Both of these are within the Western classical genre, but they are distinct. They have some overlap, hence the Venn diagram, but they are distinct. So art song is a form of chamber music, and that means that it is written for a small ensemble, often just solo piano and solo voice. I guess they're not solo if they're together. One piano and one voice. Sometimes there's a few other instruments thrown in, but it's meant for a very intimate setting, whereas opera, on the other hand, is orchestral. You might have, like, 40 plus people on the stage with a full orchestra in the pit underneath. There's lights, there's costumes. It looks very different. Art song also is a hybrid art form. It originates as poetry. So the way it works is poet gets some inspiration, writes a real nice poem. Composer comes along and goes, wow, that poem is really inspiring. I want to set it to music. So they do. And then the musicians come along and go, wow, that's beautiful. I really want to play it. And so it's kind of, it goes along on this journey. And sometimes there are translators involved too. So it's a very collaborative thing. Sometimes the poet and the composer work together. Sometimes they're the same person even. sometimes these people are separated by literally thousands of years and cultures and languages. So it's very, it does this. I don't know what the word is for that. You fill in the blank. Opera, on the other hand, is
Collaborative?
it's all collaborative, Joe. That's not helpful. That's Joe. She was my first voice teacher. She's cheeky. That's it for the catcalling tonight. No more peanut gallery. Opera, on the other hand, is a staged narrative, so its genesis is different. But what you need to know about both of these art forms is that they are both interested in telling a story. In both cases, I, the singer, get to take on different characters. And even though they're different but the same, I use the same technique. So physically, what I'm doing with my body to make all of these wild and wacky sounds is the same, as opposed to, say, pop or jazz or Broadway. That's a different technique. These two forms use the same. Yeah, you got it. Next slide. What is a soprano? That's me. Hello. Sopranos are the highest of the female singing voices. There's a whole range. This is really small. I'm sorry for you folks in the back. We've got sopranos at the very tippy top. Mezzo-sopranos are the lower female voice, and then we've got tenors is the highest male voice, baritones, and then basses. There are low boys. They hang out in the basement. And all of these voice types tend to have sort of stereotypical character profiles that go with them. As a soprano, that means that I sing a lot of romantic heroines, ingenues, young, innocent women, queens, princesses, angels, fairies, whereas mezzos, as the lower female voice, they sing older women, they sing a lot of witches, seductive women. Tenors tend to be the love interest, baritones tend to be the competition for the love interest, and basses tend to be the bad guy. So that's all you need to know about opera. You're set. You're pros. Let's go to La Scala. You're ready. Next slide, please. And here's what I was kind of wanting to poke at with this recital tonight is that there's this thing that happens when you routinely get cast as an ingenue, particularly in tragic stories, which is that the ingenue characters often are not alive by the end of the show. That is why we call it tragedy, yes. But it's such a thing that it's predictable. Like at this point, there's kind of like an unspoken inside joke where casting comes out and all the sopranos run around with their scores. That's what we call our music. We run around with our scores going, "Are you still alive at the end of the show?" And if you are, kudos to you. So you know we gotta laugh at it. You gotta get through it somehow. But as a performer who has to encounter this repertoire and these narratives day in, day out, when I encounter a character that is written for my voice type that is intentionally written as someone who is thriving, it is so exciting because I'm tired of having to, have my heart broken and then die because of it. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Next slide. Flipping the script. This is my whole point. Basically, I'm tired of portraying tragic narratives and want to sing about women who thrive. That's not to say that tragedies should be canceled. Absolutely not. Tragedies are really important. I'm just kind of tired of them right now, today, here, this week. So we're going to sing about some other stuff. Next slide. All right, that's it for talking. Time for some singing. We're going to jump right into it. This first set of pieces that I have for you are the first three movements of a concerto called the Chants d'Auvergne. They were written by Joseph Canteloup, a French composer, 100 years ago. And these are folk songs from the Auvergne region in southern France. They're actually in a dialect of Occitan, which was really fun to find translations for because I couldn't find any Occitan English dictionaries. So if we have any Occitan speakers in the room, I would love to talk to you after this recital. But I love these songs because they're gorgeous. This guy knew how to write a score. But also the characters are just so incredible. In the first one, these three there's 5 movements, 5 pieces sort of that go into this whole. I'm just going to give you the first three tonight. But in these three, we meet three different women who are thriving in three different ways. In the first one, La Pastura as Camp, we meet a quick-witted shepherdess who evades the unwanted attentions of the gentleman. You can hear her running away in the piano part. So Derek is carrying as much of the narrative as I am. In the second one, Bailero, this is based on a traditional shepherding song structure. It's a call and response between a shepherdess and a shepherd who are out in the hills. They're tending their sheep, and they're on opposite hills, but they're separated by a river. And you'll figure it out. It's a beautiful love song. And the final one, this is one of my favorites because it's just so weird. Laio de Rozzo means the spring water. And the speaker of this text is an older woman talking to a young girl and imparting some life advice about the local spring water. Namely, don't drink it, it'll kill you. So this is the chant d'auvergne. I'm going to ask that you hold your applause between the three movements and you can clap at the end. Thank you.
Guardo se muto
Derek is playing what we call an orchestral reduction, which means they've taken every single part that the orchestra plays and they've smushed it down into one part for piano. So this man is multitasking. And then some. But for this next one, this is an art song. So this piece was written for one piano and one voice. And this song is, it's in German, it's called Als Luise die Briefe ihres ungetreuen Liebhabers verbrannte, say that 10 times fast, which basically means that time when Louisa burned the letters from her unfaithful lover. And this was written in 1787 by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, but oh my gosh, like this could have been written today. It feels so modern. And what I love about it, the reason why I've chosen to include it in this program is that Louisa, in my opinion, is a young woman who is thriving because even though she is heartbroken and she is angry, she doesn't let it ruin her life. She feels her anger. She's very mature. She feels her anger. She works through her grief. And then she picks herself up and moves on. And it's delightful. No, none of these tropes of, oh, my heart is broken and now I shall lay in bed and die of consumption. Or wander the moors and get a cold and then die. Not for Louisa. She's got places to go, things to do. None of that. This is us, Louisa. and this is one of my favorite arias. It is called Arias, Je réchauffe les bons. It's in French. But it's commonly known as the fire aria. And this is from, like I said, a French opera by the composer Ravel. The opera is called L'Enfant et les Sortilèges, which means the child and the enchantments. And the basic plot of this, I almost said movie, of this opera, is that there is a child who does not want to do his homework, so his mother puts him in timeout, sends him to his room, and he has a tantrum. He trashes his whole room. And then all the things that he has broken come to life and scare him silly. So there's some broken teapots that have a little song. There's a chorus of very sad shepherds that are sad because they have to leave their home because the wallpaper that is their home has been ripped. There's a princess who comes to life from one of the books whose pages he's ripped out. And at one point, the fire in the hearth, this was written 100-ish years ago, so people had fires in their homes. The fire in the hearth leaps out and accuses him of his crimes, gives him what for, scares him silly, and then disappears, and that's all that we see of this character. And I love it because it's such a fiery piece. I'm running out of adjectives. This character, admittedly, isn't technically a woman. There's room for argument there. The French word for fire is masculine, le feu. However, Ravel chose to write this for a soprano, and that's a choice. So, and I'm singing it, so I get to decide. So this fire is a woman. And what I love about this character is that she has such a strong sense of justice. She calls the child to account. She speaks her mind. She tells him to do better. She says her piece, and then she gets out of there. She's not wasting any more time on him. So this one's for all the strong women out there who have ever called me out on my nonsense. Hi, Mom, I love you. My mom's here tonight, y'all. No pressure. This is the fire aria. This next piece is also in the realm of opera. This is O Titre nicht from The Magic Flute, also by Mozart. Riku's giggling, I'll ask him why later. This is one of the most iconic soprano characters out there. She's actually better known for her other aria, which is Der Höhle, which is like the iconic Rage Fest. Apparently it was on the album that they sent to space, so She's been immortalized. And this is kind of a contentious one to include in a program about women who are thriving, and I'll get to that in a minute. First, some plot. So this happens pretty early on in the opera. The Queen of the Night enters. Interestingly, you never get her name. You just know her as the Queen of the Night, so y'all can think about that. All you scholarly types out here. The Queen enters. She sees Prince Tamino, who is a foreign prince who is traveling through her lands. And she tasks him with rescuing her daughter, who she explains has been kidnapped by the high priest Sarastro. Some important context to know, and in the show we learn this over the course of the show as the plots unfold. But the queen is usually painted as the antagonist in this show. She's gets a bad rap as the baddie. The plot is highly allegorical. It uses a lot of Masonic imagery. Mozart was really close with the Masonic community. They bailed him out a bunch of times when he was broke. So he wrote this to kind of be like, thanks guys. So yeah, there's a lot of with this Masonic imagery comes a lot of good versus evil kind of tropes. That kind of structure is baked into the plot, which makes it really, really easy to reduce the Queen of the Night to a two-dimensional symbolic representation of evil, like capital E, evil. I mean, she's called the Queen of the Night, like, come on. But I do think that this character is really interesting and that she warrants a closer look. Over the course of the opera, we learn that before the events of the opera, the Queen has recently been widowed, and to her dismay, her late husband, the king, bequeathed all of his power to this high priest Sarastro. So she's left with nada. She's left powerless, so she feels very betrayed. And when we meet her in this aria, she's doing everything in her power that she can to take back the authority and the power that she feels are rightfully hers. She does this by manipulating this Prince Tamino, who's kind of just this rando prince who rolls up. He turns out to be important later, but at this point he's just a rando. She manipulates him and uses him for her purposes. So, I wouldn't say that her MO is admirable or, what's the word? Ethical? Moral, that's the word. But, thriving may be a stretch here. But it remains that even though her actions are morally questionable, she is acting from a place of empowerment. Justice has been denied her, and so she's taking what action she can. Also, this is a really fun piece to sing. As a soprano, you either can or can't sing the Queen of the Night, and I have recently learned that I can, which is really exciting. So it's on the program. This is Otipfenich. This is also some of the best entrance music in the entire operatic canon. Enjoy.
Nicht, mein Leben
mouths will work out. This next piece takes us back into the realm of art song. This is another German song called Im Zimmer, which means in the room. This music was written by Alvin Berg, and the poem was written by Johannes Schlaf in the early 1900s. And the poetry in this poem, all right, I'll admit, it doesn't expressly indicate that the speaker is a woman, but tonight we're hearing it in my voice, so again, I'm saying it's a woman. And this is a song, I love this song. It is short and it is sweet and it is about contentment. The text describes a room, think like a cozy living room kind of thing, bathed in autumn sunlight. There's a little fire crackling in the corner, and the speaker of this text is curled up with her partner, maybe on a couch, somewhere like that, in a moment of ordinary, comfortable intimacy. This isn't the spicy kind of intimacy. This is the simple, everyday kind of intimacy that suggests that these two have been together for a long time and that they will continue to be together for a long time. And it conveys an expression of deep contentment that can only come from a place of deep connection and deep safety, which in my books counts as thriving. Please and thank you. This speaker is thriving in her relationship, and I will add another thing that I love about this text is the German. I've got a translation here for you, but I'm a heritage speaker of German. I spent a grueling 13 years of Saturday mornings at German school. Thank you for that, Dad. It's paying off now. I really hate to say that out loud, but when I first encountered this piece, this text felt distinctly German to me in a way that I'm not able to articulate beyond that. Merlin, maybe you can tell me if you have the same thought. But it doesn't. You haven't even seen it yet. But in my opinion, even though the English translation is beautiful, it doesn't even come close to the expression of deep contentment that the German text contains in this piece. So this is Im Zimmer. Enjoy. We are going back into opera. This is Quando Menvo from La Bohème by Giacomo Puccini. So the opera, La Bohème, that this piece is from, is the opera that the musical Rent is based on. So if you're more familiar with that, you're already in a frame of reference. And this piece is sung by a character whose name is Musetta. Musetta is a singer, a cafe singer kind of thing. Musetta is the definition of 30, flirty, and thriving, okay? Everyone here who grew up in the early aughts is gonna get that. Everyone else is like, what are you talking about? The plot here, this scene takes place in a local cafe, and Musetta has previously broken up with Marcello, and he's pretty upset when he sees her waltz in with an older, wealthier man. But it's pretty clear that Musetta is bored of this guy. and that she still has a flame for Marcello, and not one to be shy of the spotlight. She jumps up on a table and sings this spicy little aria to the very crowded cafe, flirting with Marcello right under the nose of the old guy who's, paying for her food. And by the end of the scene, she has sent the old man off on a pointless errand, and she's back with Marcello. And I love this song because Musetta is in fine fettle, okay? She is commanding the attention of the whole cafe while flirting shamelessly with her lover, and she is in her element, and she is loving every single moment of this. And I will not be climbing up on a table for this one. Sorry to disappoint. It's not happening. And here I want to expand my theme of women who thrive to include all people who thrive. This last song, this is another art song by the American composer Samuel Barber and the poet James. It's either a G or a G, and I will let the English majors tell me.
A-G?
A-G. It's A-G. The jury has spoken. This poem to me reads as a kind of benediction or blessing. It expresses the idea of a vast cosmic kindness and a deep desire for wholeness and healing. It's sort of, I think of it as like a secular sacred, if that makes sense. And I chose to end tonight's program with this piece as a sort of benediction for everyone in the room tonight. This has been a hard year. Yes. I see heads nodding. Yes, I see you. And the world is a dumpster fire, but we're all still here. And this song expresses my heartfelt wish for everyone here tonight. I will say, last time I sang this in performance, I started to cry halfway through, so hopefully that won't happen tonight, but if it does, you can just join me. This is Sure on This Shining Night.